What if Elliot's greatest pain was never an accident? What if Kat and Nick didn't just witness history, but actually created the tragedy that destroyed Elliot's family forever? The first look at The Way Home Season 4, Episode 5 is darker than anything we've seen before because this time, the pond doesn't simply show the past. It traps Kat and Nick inside it. And by the end of this episode, one terrible choice may change Elliot's life forever. Nick finally jumps into the pond for the very first time. The 1920s become more dangerous than anyone expected, and the emotional ending leaves behind one terrifying question. Were Kat and Nick always meant to ruin the past? Because after this episode, nothing in Port Haven may ever feel the same again. The episode begins with tension already building between Kat and Nick. For so long, Kat has carried the burden of the pond completely alone. Even when people around her sensed something strange was happening, nobody truly understood what she was dealing with. But now everything has changed because Nick finally knows the truth. He knows the pond is real. He knows time travel is real. And most importantly, he knows that Kat has been risking her life trying to fix wounds that began generations ago. That changes the entire dynamic between them immediately. Nick is no longer standing outside the mystery looking in. He is now part of it. What makes this moment so emotional is the history between these characters. Nick has already lost so much time because of the strange events surrounding the pond and Alice. There is still pain in him that never fully healed. Even though years have passed, there is a part of Nick that still feels trapped by the questions he never got answers to. That is why when Kat reveals her newest mission, he doesn't hesitate for even a second. The moment she mentions Elliot's mother, Nick is all in. He wants answers just as badly as Kat does, and this is where the episode becomes very personal. Elliot's mother has always been one of the biggest shadows hanging over the story. Her disappearance left a wound inside Elliot that never truly closed. Everyone around him moved on or stayed silent, but Elliot carried that loss every single day of his life. Kat believes the pond may finally lead them to the truth. But there is fear in her voice when she talks about it, because deep down she knows this mission is different. This isn't just about learning history anymore. This is about touching the most painful moment in Elliot's entire life. Nick's reaction here is very important because you can already see how emotionally connected he becomes to the mission. Part of him wants to help Elliot. Part of him wants to prove he can finally do something meaningful with the impossible gift the pond has given them. But another part of Nick is drawn toward the mystery itself. After spending years feeling disconnected from his own life, the pond gives him something he hasn't felt in a long time. Purpose. The scene at the pond is one of the strongest moments in the trailer because it feels calm on the surface, but underneath it there is pure fear. The night air is cold, the water is black and completely still. The moon reflects across the surface like the pond is hiding another world beneath it. Kat stands quietly at the edge, almost like she's preparing for battle instead of time travel. She looks at Nick seriously and gives him one final warning. The pond doesn't take you where you want to go. It takes you where you need to go. That line feels extremely important because it reminds us that nobody truly controls the pond. Every jump comes with consequences. Every visit to the past changes the travelers emotionally, even if they survive physically. Nick hears Kat's warning, but he still doesn't fully understand what it means yet. To him, this still feels like an adventure mixed with mystery. He has not yet learned the terrible truth that the past fights back. The moment before they jump is filled with silence. Nick stares into the water, trying to understand how his entire life changed so quickly. Just days earlier, the pond was impossible fantasy. Now he is standing inches away from diving into another time period. Kat can see the fear in his face, but she can also see determination. And maybe that is what scares her most. Because every person who becomes too emotionally attached to the past eventually makes dangerous choices. Then they jump. The transition into the past is brutal and disorienting. The cold water swallows them instantly. For a few seconds, there is no sound at all. No voices, no light, nothing except darkness and movement. Then suddenly they break through the surface, gasping for air, but the world around them is completely different. This is not the Port Haven they know. The first thing they notice is the silence. No cars, no electricity, no distant city noise. The air smells like smoke from fireplaces mixed with ocean salt. Even the wind feels older somehow. Nick looks around in complete shock as he realizes they are truly standing inside the 1920s. Not reading about it, not imagining it, living inside it. And this is where the emotional power of the episode really begins to grow. Nick is overwhelmed because for the first time he understands what Kat has been carrying all these years. The past is not just memories frozen in time. These are real people living real lives completely unaware that history is watching them. Every choice matters here. Every mistake matters. The camera lingers on Nick's face as he looks toward the old town square. You can almost see the panic building inside him. The buildings are familiar but younger. The streets feel alive in a completely different way. Men and women walk past wearing heavy coats and old-fashioned clothes, talking quietly while carrying pieces of a future they cannot see. Nick realizes something terrifying in that moment. Everyone here believes this is their only reality. None of them know tragedy is coming. Kat immediately pulls Nick into the shadows because, unlike him, she knows how dangerous this situation truly is. She reminds him that they cannot attract attention. In this era, strangers are noticed instantly. One wrong conversation could change everything. They are ghosts here. They have no names, no history, and no place in this world. But even as Kat explains the rules, you can already see Nick struggling emotionally. He keeps staring at the people around him because the experience feels almost unreal. For the first time, he is seeing the ancestors of people he has known his entire life. He is seeing Port Haven before generations of heartbreak changed it forever. And deep down, there is excitement in him despite the danger. That excitement becomes important later because it clouds his judgment. Nick wants to believe they can come here, find answers, and leave without consequences. But Kat knows better. She has already learned the painful lesson that time travel always demands a price. As they move deeper into the town, the atmosphere changes slowly from wonder into tension. The beauty of the 1920s begins to fade and something darker replaces it. People watch strangers carefully here. Social rules are strict. Secrets are buried beneath polite smiles. Kat explains quietly that Elliot's mother didn't simply disappear one day. Someone wanted her erased. That single line changes the feeling of the entire mission. Now, this is no longer just a search through history. It is an investigation into a cover-up that has survived for generations. And the deeper Kat and Nick walk into the past, the more it feels like the past already knows they should not be there.